As I've said before in these walks, the things that I talk about often are things that got into my head somehow, and I just need to get them out. It does help. It's therapeutic. So anyway, beautiful day out here. Kind of windy. Got windy all of a sudden. I hope that's not affecting the microphone. But anyway, doing something on YouTube the other day, and an ad popped up. It's like a little kid dressed as a sort of Cold War Soviet soldier or something, you know, the hat and the sickle, hammer and sickle logo. And it's like, oh, what is this, you know? And turns out it's an ad for a series of books called the Tuttle twins. And these books, so the woman in the video claims that our schools are teaching socialism. Now, you have, I suppose, socialism, communism, capitalism. They were showing symbols of communism, but then talking about socialism. And so anyway, point being that buying these books will help to, re-educate your children in the correct direction. That we have the best system and all this stuff, and that the schools are teaching socialism. And, there's a lot of levels here, what's going on psychologically and so on. Usually when people have to broadcast how right their system is, their way is, it's because they have doubts deep down. And so they don't really want to get into details. And the thing about all these so-called systems, the thing about all these so-called systems is that putting one word on it can make it seem like a thing, and it is now simplified and labeled. When in fact, it's incredibly complex, just like the world. So if you want to generalize about systems that we have, like the woman with the child in the video, and the kid wants some cookies, and it's like, oh, well, the supply is out, So this is an example of capitalism. And it's like, well, socialism, so-called, if she had been, if the child had been younger and she was breastfeeding the boy, then what would that be? Socialism, communism. She wouldn't be charging for it, right? So when it comes to the systems that we have, institutions in society, there are a lot of things that aren't essentially capitalistic, or there's vague gray areas. So public libraries, for example, could be called socialistic. The highway system, in a way it does come from your taxes, so in a sense we do pay for it, but it's its own thing that operates out of the government structure to keep things flowing. In addition to keeping things flowing like water and sewage, those also are provided for us. So in a sense, those are socialistic as well. Say, for example, a group of people get together at a church and have a Sunday dinner, and they're all bringing stuff in and sharing it. Well, heck, that's communism, right? So anyway, all these interactions are spectrums of gray. They're not absolute. And making claims about the virtues of capitalism, above all else, because why? Because it's us, because it's our identity, because that's who we are, points to a frailty of identity in the first place. But what can happen when the adults attempt to force feed certain ideologies, could be religious beliefs, to children in the sort of mistaken intention that they're doing good. Usually what happens is it doesn't turn out that way. So, for example, generations of kids that got forced to go to church and had religion, Christianity pushed upon them, basically is responsible for the creation of death metal. Okay, so you're going to have a push against that, because the next generation, and anyone who has children knows this, is going to look at what you did and not do that, because essentially it didn't work for you. So that's like this commercial about the Tuttle twins. So you got some woman who I assume is an actress, but she probably must believe this stuff or else she wouldn't be in the commercial, making all these announcements and proclamations about the virtues of her system. Basically is a gigantic indicator that it's not working for her. Because if it were, then they could simply teach by example. In other words, someone would see you doing this behavior, see that it worked for you, and instantly do the same thing. So when you have to force these beliefs on people, and people that are vulnerable, children, it does not say good things about your psychological state. And having said that, psychology is largely ignored and overlooked these days. But it is important, because ultimately you may get to the point where you can honestly look at yourself, your makeup, your motivations, your history, your conditioning, your choices, influences, all these things that have made you who you are, and make a conscious decision to go in a different direction. So anyway, the Tuttle twins program, not only is it to me erroneous at its core, it also speaks volumes about the people that are promoting it. And bicyclist. And I just felt a need to say something, because what happens in families, it's like, yeah, it's your family, In a way, it's no one else's business until you start breaking the law. Physical abuse, sexual abuse, things like that. But there are no laws against psychological abuse. So anyway, whether it be political ideologies, economic ones, religious, whatever, trying to force them on children is not only wrong ethically, but also it overlooks the fact that children could do a better job of it than the adults in every case, assuming the children aren't, psychologically traumatized or beyond a certain age. So children of, say, 14 can do harm. Children of a younger age, it's very unlikely that they will do that. So I've said this to someone somewhere before, that 3-year-olds could do a better job of running the world, than we do, because the very simple answers to questions would never get overcomplicated. They would just simply be answered. Oh, people are hungry? Feed them. You have a problem? Take care of it. And so on. So anyway, no doubt the Tuttle thing will go on. Those people doing what they feel that they have to do, claiming it's about the children when it's really about themselves. So anyway, I'll leave it there, and Maybe I'll include a link. Basically, if you just do a search for Tuttle Twins commercial, it will bring up the one that I saw. And anyway, I'll leave it there. Bye-bye.